mate cold. Very awkward, this, isn't it? It's very strange. Very strange.
Anything I feel.
Right, mate.
That's
You shake hands like a wet lettuce, mate.
No, I just match what you do. You're a strong answer, just say.
Oh, strong handshake, please. Thanks. You can go now. Firstly, say thank you to James Ward. Stick your head in the camera. I don't know which one you want to stick it in, but what a legend. As usual, James is helping with music videos because he's a absolute legend with all of his massive rigs. So this is basically our budget press release for Pray for the Better Days, which is obviously our new single. So we just wanted to take some time and just basically ask some questions about the song. It's just, it was the way you just went. I could hear again. So basically, just wanted to take a bit of time to ask some questions about the song, and I'm going to ask the questions, and James is going to be our
try and answer them.
So, firstly, me man. So James, could you just tell us what the song is about? I've got cue cards.
Oh, crying out loud.
Look at me when you're talking. Confident, you're talking to me, you're not talking, but there's no camera. You're not talking to people, you're literally just having a conversation with me. Tell me when you're ready.
No.
See, you know, no jokes aside, this is the thing that people don't see, and I will say this, that obviously this is what people don't see, and this is what, you know, living with autism can be like, is that for some people that could just answer that question straight off, it's so much more difficult for somebody that suffers from Asperger's or autism.
This is what I can never write an essay.
Yeah.
So the song is about Johnny, just poor mental health, about social anxiety, depression, and which is all things that I experience as a person diagnosed with autism. Actually my diagnosis was Asperger's syndrome, but now it's just classed as autism.
Why did you feel like it was important to write a song that plays on those sort of themes?
I mean, autism nowadays is getting more talked about, which is good, but there's plenty of people I feel just don't understand it, and so I want this song and the music video that accompanies it to show, obviously the music video visually and the song in words, what it's like to live with these mental health conditions, which tie in with autism as well. Just show visually what it's like to have these troubles as you just try and go about your day.
Why is it important to you that people should be aware?
Well, as I say, I mean, people are starting, it's autism and a lot of other mental health in general is being talked about more, but I feel like people just still don't fully understand it, and you know, people with autism, especially children, are just seen as little brats that can't be controlled, and that's just not the case. There's a reason why they act in a certain way, and that's the same with adults. So this, you know, it doesn't go away. It needs to be understood more, and it needs to be, you know, schools, for example, for children need to support children with this condition better. And I think more support needs to be there for adults, especially in things like the workplace and stuff like that, and getting jobs, because there's still people out there that aren't being able to live, I think, a full life like a neurological person would.
Like, statistically, how many people does it actually affect?
Well, according to the National Autistic Society, about 700,000 people in the UK
right.
Live with an autism diagnosis.
That's just people that are diagnosed.
That's people who are diagnosed. I assume. Yeah, there's probably so much more that don't get a diagnosis, but still haven't been diagnosed.
Yeah. And I guess that's again why it's probably so important to raise awareness of the signs of what somebody might go through.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to be able to pick up on these signs. Just do a bit of research, and if you think someone's not acting right, just look it up and find out what it could be, because it could very well be autism.
Potentially that could lead to opening a story for somebody that hasn't got a diagnosis to actually go and, I guess, get tested.
I mean, because what would be great is if this song and the music video, if some people watch it and they think, oh, that seems familiar with someone I know or with myself, that could, it would be great if they could see that, it could be autism that they have or someone they know has.
Yeah. What does a day in the life of somebody with autism look like? In a broad sense, how does it feel?
I mean, everyone's affected differently depending on how sort of where you are on the spectrum. But for myself and a few people who I know who have autism or Asperger's specifically, for me, I just like being in my own space. I rarely like being out in public. I don't like being in large groups of people, even small groups of people, whether it's friends, family or strangers. It still feels the same to me. I still just shut down and just completely switch off.
A lot of those feelings that you get is, obviously, it's due to mental health reasons, but that's...
Which I think it's just pure social anxiety. I just feel out of place no matter... in an environment like this, I feel perfectly at home and comfortable. But in public, or just a small, even my closest friends, there's times I'll just sit on my own and just switch off, and it's just sometimes just feeling out of place and not, I can see I'm different to everyone else. I can't speak and communicate in the same way. I can't pick up any social cues, facial expressions, hints. I can't always pick up jokes. I mean, over the years, growing up, I've learned to mask a lot of these symptoms, so a lot of people don't even realise I have autism.
I think people that don't suffer from that, obviously, they take for granted how easy it is to just have a human conversation, and don't realise just how many levels there are to it for somebody that can't do that.
Autism is a developmental disorder. There's an element of learning difficulty with picking things up, and incredibly slow at learning things, and like every time I'm out in public or speaking with someone, I'm always going over what I think I'm probably going to have to say, or going over what I'll probably be speaking about with someone in my head while I'm, I have to always double check things in my head before I say something, figure out what tone I'm going to say it in, because I can't always pick up if someone's upset with me especially, or I could carry on, I could say something and have no idea that I've upset somebody by saying it, or I could just not know when to end a conversation or stop talking and let someone else talk.
I think it's important that people start to gain an awareness of autism, and the fact that if you ask someone a question and it takes them 3 minutes to think of an answer, they're not being rude, they are genuinely just like ticking and ticking and ticking, trying to figure out a way to do it.
If you're just having a general conversation and just sort of shut off and don't answer, it's because most of the times my head's just blank and I just don't know what to say, or I've got nothing to say, so to speak. Small talk is incredibly difficult as well. It's just I have to, it's just everything, every step of communicating with someone is just sort of I have to break it down in my head and think about
it. Excuse me. That's my final notes. All I'll say is pray for the better days.
So through the promotional period for this record, we'll be raising money for the National Autistic Society, right up to the release date of the single,
and probably thereafter as well.
Yeah.
The aim is just literally to make as much money as
Yeah.
we can to raise awareness, so as much as there is a period of how long it will last. If we feel like we need to extend it, we will.
So we'll put the links out for that for you to kindly donate if you can.
Down there or there, whichever social media platform it's on, it'll be somewhere. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. And James, thank you very much for allowing me to look at your luscious breasts for the past 15 minutes. I'm off for a... See you later, mate.
So have a good one.